Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and if you don't feel like dealing with the hassle of making reservations, going out to a restaurant, getting poor service, and spending a bunch of money, I'm going to show you how to make this restaurant quality meal right from the comfort of your own home. Today we're making lamb chops and lobster tails. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. All right guys, first things first, lamb is super expensive, particularly if you go out to eat. This dinner will probably run you $100 a person, but we got 2 whole racks of lamb for $40 from Sam's Club. You can't beat that, and it comes already Frenched, so you're already one up on. What you want to do now is part these out into individual lamb chops or bones. So what you want to find is there's obviously you see the rib bone here goes all the way down to a point. And you want to find that point, and you want to take your blade and kind of hug the bone closest to your left. Well, if you're right-handed like me, you want to hug the bone closest to the left and go all the way down until you separate it, like so. And you got one chop. Just repeat that process for the entire rack, and you have your individual lamb chops. Now, if you have a rack that has a lot of excess fat on it, you can trim some of that off. Sam's Club does a pretty good job, obviously, of trimming there, so we're not going to have to do that today. But if you get a rack from another grocery store, you can do a little bit of trimming if you want to, or don't. You know, my wife actually enjoys the fatty parts of the lamb chop, so I tend to leave that on, so she'll probably be a little disappointed at these, actually. But for the purposes of you at home, this is probably the way to go. There we go. Individual, perfectly portioned lamb chops. Now, as far as seasoning goes, we're going to hit this with some kosher salt. Nice, generous application on all sides. And I'm going to use my all-purpose seasoning, which is a blend of salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, a couple other spices. It's low in sodium, which is why I'm using the extra salt here, because I just think lamb needs a little extra salt. Any red meat, to me, needs adequate salt, especially if you're going for that restaurant flavor. Depending on what restaurant you're going to, obviously. If you're going to my restaurant, Fresh in DC, you're going to get some seasoned food. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this salt on here. Then we're going to hit them with the AP seasoning. Give them a couple minutes to hang out. We're going to cook these in olive oil, add a little butter, rosemary, garlic, and thyme. Baste them restaurant style, steakhouse style. Finish them in the oven if needed. And we're going to make our lobster tail steakhouse style as well. All right, so we got these lobster tails. These are about 3-ounce lobster tails, relatively small, but we're serving it up with some lamb chops. If you're serving just the lobster tail only, you probably want to go a little bit larger or serve 2. We're going to serve this again, steakhouse, restaurant style, whatever you want to call it, basically cutting down the back of the lobster shell, but stopping before you get to the tail. Then we're going to separate the meat from the shell, remove it, put the shell back together, and place the lobster meat on top of the shell for the beautiful presentation. Real simple, real easy. There is occasionally a vein that you'll notice in lobster tails that you're going to want to remove. Not all of them have it, but definitely want to remove that, clean them up, and then we'll get them on our wire rack with a baking sheet that has aluminum foil on it. And then we're going to cook these in the oven. I'm going to make a delicious compound garlic butter for you guys as well. That's going to pair with both the lamb and the lobster. And this episode is sponsored by David Protein. All right, guys, let's talk about protein for a second, because for a long time, I struggled to find a protein bar that actually tastes good and fits my nutrition goals. That's why I've been keeping David around for a while now. What makes David different is the macro profile. Each bar has 28 grams of protein, only 150 calories, and 0 grams of sugar. About 75% of the calories come from protein, which is one of the highest protein to calorie ratios on the market. That's what they call CFP, calories from protein, and it really matters if you're trying to be intentional about what you eat. Taste-wise, these surprised me the most. The texture is a mix of soft dough with crunchy chips, and flavors are bold without tasting artificial or overly sweet. It actually feels like a real snack, not something you're forcing down. I also like that David is built around real evidence-based nutrition. The protein is highly digestible, gluten-free, and designed to help you hit protein targets without loading up on unnecessary calories
or sugar spikes. It fits easily into real life, whether you're busy, on the go, or just need something simple that actually works. Right now, David is offering my viewers a special deal. If you order 4 cartons, you get your 5th carton for free when you use my link or scan the QR code on the screen. And if you don't want to wait, you can actually find David at places like Target, Walmart, Kroger, Publix, and plenty of other retailers. If you're looking for a smart protein-forward snack that actually delivers and tastes great, give David a try.
So as you can see, we have the lobster tail perfectly presented, nice and clean. I'm gonna hit it with just my lemon base seasoning. You can season it with whatever you want: salt, pepper, a little paprika, a little garlic, flavors that pair nicely with seafood, even a little Old Bay sprinkle. You don't wanna go too crazy on the seasoning because we are gonna make that garlic butter sauce that's gonna impart quite a bit of flavor too. And lobster meat is pretty delicate, so just a light sprinkle for color and for a little flavor. And we're gonna pop this in the refrigerator while we make our lamb chops. These only take about 10 to 12 minutes to cook in the oven, depending on the size. You want your lobster meat to be about 145 degrees internal temperature. That's when it's safe to eat. All right, people, next up is our sauce, and that's gonna get started with garlic, shallot, and parsley. Of course, a little dry white wine, which is optional, but it does add some nice flavor. If you don't wanna use the wine, you can use just chicken stock. We're gonna emulsify the butter, give it a nice thick viscosity to the sauce. First things first, though, we're gonna dice up this garlic. Tons of great flavors that pair nicely with both seafood and red meat. That's why we chose this sauce. Quick reminder, guys, that you can find this recipe and all of my recipes at mrmakeithappen.com. Next up for the sauce, we're gonna get the party started with a little bit of good quality olive oil, about a tablespoon, just to lubricate the pan and start to saute the shallot and the garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and add them both in at the same time. It's gonna get nice and fragrant, smelling good in the house already. Pour yourself a little wine, get a good playlist going. It's Valentine's Day, so whether you're cooking for your spouse or your soon-to-be spouse, or just, you didn't want to be alone on Valentine's Day, nothing wrong with that either. We're gonna work on medium heat here. Just get this started. Next up, we're gonna add some lemon zest and some lemon juice. Just gonna add some nice citrus notes to the flavor profile. Again, both pair really great with lobster and lamb. Gonna go ahead and get the zest in there. We'll add the juice a little bit later. Chicken broth. Once we get that in there, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of chicken bouillon powder for some MSG and just to enhance the flavor a little bit. I'm gonna bring this up to a boil, let this reduce a little bit, and then we're gonna add our dry white wine, bring that back up to a boil, and let the alcohol burn off. And then once this reduces by half, we'll start to emulsify and mix in that cold butter. If you see any big garlic chunks like that, you can go ahead and remove it. Now, as far as seasoning goes, we're going with AP and my buttery garlic pepper seasoning. Gonna add that in now while this wine and stock reduce a little bit. As it reduces, the alcohol is gonna cook off and the flavors are gonna concentrate. And then we're gonna kill the heat, add in the cold butter, and stir rapidly. That way we get some good emulsification of the butter into the sauce. It's gonna thicken up nicely, have good viscosity, good flavor. It's gonna be perfect for the lobster and the lamb. All right, guys, next up, it's time to cook the lamb. We got our skillet over medium-high heat. I'm gonna add a tablespoon or so of olive oil or avocado oil. Gonna coat the skillet nicely. Wait for this to get smoking hot. Then we're gonna add our lamb and press down. Make sure you're making good maximum surface area contact with the skillet. That way you develop a good crust. The crust is gonna add flavor, texture, and color. And it's gonna ensure the texture holds up once we add the sauce. All right, guys, once you sear the lobster to perfection, we're gonna go ahead and add in about 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter, some fresh garlic, rosemary, thyme. Baste those lamb chops to impart all that garlic, butter, and herb flavor. Then we're gonna finish them in the oven if needed to your desired internal temperature. As for the lobster, we're gonna pop that in the oven at 400 degrees for about 5 minutes and then begin to baste it. Lobster cooks super quick, so about halfway through the cooking time, we're gonna go ahead and start to baste it with that butter. You can baste it as many times as you want to. It's not gonna hurt it. We're also gonna plate the lobster up with that butter so you can get your dunk on. Delicious recipe. You can't go wrong for Valentine's Day. One last reminder, guys, you can find this recipe and all my recipes at mrmakeithappen.com. It's time to go ahead and plate this up a little charred lemon for razzle dazzle. This is the part where I say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good, The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, people, it's surf and turf time. My wife's favorite thing in the world to eat is lamb chops, and she's going to be excited when she gets home. That is if we don't eat them all. Cheers. Oh, my God. That sauce is money. Good on lamb, good on lobster. Here we go. You guys gotta try this one.